Hi, it's like 2:17 a.m. so I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible because, everybody's sleeping, or at least trying to sleep, except me because I'm like YouTube crazy, just a little. So I made this video review before, but I didn't really like it because it didn't capture the essence of what I was trying to explain, right? I mumbled a lot and I didn't explain myself properly, so I'm going to attempt it one more time. This is a book review on The Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Yeah, look at this freaking sword. Isn't it badass? Isn't it badass? I want that sword. So basically, what is this novel about? How would I tell you that, This novel is set in a fantasy world in which we're introduced in a kingdom that's divided into into 7 provinces. History tells us that there was these provinces were previously all separate kingdoms, but a really crook dictator had united them, and so on and so forth. Basically, this book commences with an introduction to the Stark family, who are at the center of this novel. The king, who's from the south, goes to the north, where the Starks rule, and invites Eddard Stark, who is the warden of the north, to take the place of the late hand of the king. The late hand of the king, yes. What had happened was the late hand of the king had passed away, and as we look further and understand deeper into the novel, it turns out that he passed away in very sketchy manner. So Eddard Stark, knowing this, goes to investigate how he passed away, and that is the reason why he even takes the position. Now there's a whole different subplot in this novel. Actually, there are 2 different subplots. Number 1 is there's a character named Daenerys, and she is the daughter of the late king. This late king, who they call the Mad King, was very crazy. Basically, he just loved killing. He was psychotic, but at the same time, his family's symbol were the dragons. So they believe that this king and this family, the Targaryens are their names, sort of had dragon blood in them because they conquered the dragons and, they ruled with the dragons. Now, Daenerys and her brother are the 2 survivors of the Targaryen family. And basically, her brother has a lust and a thirst to get back the power that they had lost. So Daenerys is sort of married off into this cruel, savage, but not quite savage, sort of peoples, so that her brother can have, a power and army that goes along with him while he searches and goes on a quest to get back the throne. So that is one of the subplot. And the second one is with Eddard Stark's bastard, Jon Snow. Basically, Jon Snow, like I had just said, is a bastard. And being a bastard in this novel is not very good. First of all, Eddard Stark's wife hates Jon. If she can kill Jon, she probably would, which is sick because Jon is 14. But she's sick. I freaking hate her. I love Jon, and I probably said this before, but I'm head over heels in love with Jon, and no, you don't freaking do that to Jon, no. Anyways, he decides to take up position on the wall, and what the wall is sort of like a prison, but not really, because the prisoners love what they do. I don't know how to explain. Basically, these prisoners are soldiers. They have a responsibility to protect this kingdom from what they call the others. And the others includes a band of crooks, very malicious people, that just steal and engage in very malicious behaviors. They've been sort of pushed away from the rest of the kingdom, and also these mythical creatures that basically are creating a vast army to take over the kingdom. But it's insane. It's super insane. So Jon decides to take up the wall because that's where he feels he fits in. And when you go on the wall, you sort of swear an oath never to leave, or you die. You can't get married. You can't like have children. Like, the wall is your wife and your son and your daughter and your mother and your father, and that's it. So yeah, as we advance through the novel, we're introduced to different characters. For one, the novel is sort of like a war between families. So we know the Starks are the Warden of the North, but then there's the Lannisters who rule over Casterly Rock. They're very rich, maybe not as powerful as the Starks, but frickin' rich, considering that a Lannister daughter is married to the king, who's best friends with Eddard Stark. Am I confusing you? Maybe I am. But like, this book encapsulates political rivalry, romance, like fantasy. It's a breath of fresh air. If you're really looking for fantasy, something different, like insane rivalry, war, and gruesome but not so gruesome, this is probably a good book for you to pick up. I'm gonna say right now that 98.5 people, I don't know where I got that fact from, but like 98.5 people who read this book love it. Like, it's really good. Like, the character development is great. Like, I'm going to explain, like, give you an example. There's a character who I freaking hate, and I'm gonna use her because I actually hate her. She's and you know what? I can't freaking remember her name. Anyways, Sansa. Her name is Sansa, and she's like the 12-year-old daughter of Eddard Stark. She's sort of like the ditzy, beautiful princess-ish. She's not a princess, but like, you know, like ditzy, and does everything that they tell her to. She's like Miss Goody Goody Two Shoes and cares about what she looks like and everything. This character is so freaking stupid that you want to smash her skull, you know, because like you just want to smash her skull, you know. You're like, why aren't you smarter than that? Like, but then as you read on, you realize that she's sort of like a product of this time. These are what the women are like, you know. They're either like overly intelligent, or you know, they're like really boyish and they don't really fit in, or they're ditzy and dumb. Because let's face it, olden days women, they're either rebelling and, you know, you get an Anne Boleyn that's sexy and witty or whatever, or in the case of this book, you get a Queen Cersei, or they're just like, they submit and they, you know, they're sort of like a product of the times. And I really like that this character development starts with a girl who's, you know, just barely 12 years old, and you watch her grow, and although she's a freaking idiot, you sort of understand where she's coming from, and her love and her interest and her devotion to being a woman and getting married is seriously a product of, you know, the times that she's living in, and is explainable of who she has become. Yeah, so I mean, like, it's a very beautiful illustration. The novel is like well written. It's George R.R. Martin like sort of describes everything. Is very, he illustrates everything that he writes. Like, he is very descriptive is the word I'm trying to use, and because of that you get to see and like really be there. Though I find that sometimes it's just overly descriptive, and I'm like, get to the freaking point. I'm not gonna lie, like, first probably like 400 pages is it's kind of slow. But thank goodness that in this version of the book I have, there is about 700 pages. So it's only like, I don't know, 1/3, whatever. Or 3/4. I don't know math. Ignore that. But needless to say, it is a beautiful fantasy novel. And you don't even have to be interested in fantasy to like this or enjoy this novel, because it's like I said, it encapsulates everything. Now, content. It's adult fantasy, alright? So expect incest, you know, rape, murder, like cruelty to animals, you know, and I mean, expect violence. Expect blood and gore and violence. Like, I'm not kidding. It's really violent. It's a adult fantasy novel. There are tons of characters. Tons to keep track of. It's really a web of understanding. It's really intricate, highly detailed. And, you know, you kind of need to be mentally aware. So if you're looking for a light read, I do not suggest Game of Thrones. Don't read it if you're looking for a light read. Don't. You might want to read like some, you know, cute summer stuff, but don't read Game of Thrones. If you're looking for something heavy and super intense that will probably get your heart palpitating, or something that you probably, you know, need to keep your, be alert. Yeah, this is the right book for you. So I'd give it like a 4.5 out of 5. Forget 5 out of 5. I don't ever understand why people give books 4. Like, where did the 0.5 come from? You know, I give it a 5 out of 5. It's a good book. You know. And like I said, 95% of people who read this book probably like it. The thing is, if you've seen the movie or the TV show, please do yourself a favor and don't read it, because George R. R. Martin actually writes the freaking script. So move to the second book. It's pretty much identical. I'm not kidding. Like, there are minor detailed like differences, but that's just because if they were going to focus on every single detail, this book would be intensely long. So do yourself a favor and just move on to A Clash of Kings if you've seen the television series. I'm not joking. Also, Vanessa and Tia, you asked me what my favorite 2011 book was. I have 2 though. Okay, so I don't know. The first is by F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. I cry. If a book doesn't make me cry, then it's probably not my favorite, you know? I cried. I freaking cried, you know? It's just so indicative of, like, us as human beings, and really illustrates, you know, like, it paints a picture of human emotion and just human qualities that I find not many books do. And the second is by Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart. And if I said I cried reading Great Gatsby, I died reading that, Things Fall Apart. Like, I cried so much. Both books, however, are classics. So again, if you're not looking for something too like mentally challenging to understand, go with something simple, you know, because they're classics, and classics are classics. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. I think that I have like a funny story to tell tonight, but I'll probably just do it on my blog when I have the chance to. And I don't know, I guess the question I want to pose to both Tia and Vanessa are, do you write? And if so, where can I find your writing? Okay, and if not, do you ever plan on writing? And tell me why, or why not. So thanks for watching this video, and come check us out in maybe 3 days or a day, or whenever Vanessa and Tia decide to make a video. Okay, bye.